Hi everyone, it's Tracy. I was tagged by Kat at to do a favorite must-haves and favorite items for 2011. Please forgive my voice. I have been so sick, and I actually sound much worse than I am today. I am feeling so much better. My voice is shot, but I hope that you understand what I'm saying. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And nothing is in any particular order. I pulled out all of my favorites and what I used the most in 2011. And my first thing I'm actually filming, I'm going to move this, I'm filming on it, is my Ranger craft mat. It is a wreck, but it just shows how well loved it is. I don't know I don't know what I did without this. I purchased it at the beginning, or actually in the middle of 11, and I, it's, I don't know what I did without it. This thing is awesome. If you don't have one, I highly recommend getting one. You can paint on it, you can ink on it, you can glue on it, hot glue. The only thing you can't do is cut on this mat, but nothing sticks to it. And the reason that you see little flecks and stuff on it is because I just haven't taken the time to scrape things off. But nothing sticks to that mat. It's awesome. I highly recommend it. Okay, so the next thing I would say, okay, I'm going to pull back and I'm too close for this. So let's see. Is my trimmer. And I have the Fiskars. I don't know what the name, I mean, it's the Fiskars. A lot of people have seen this. And the arm does swing out. So you can get a full 12 inches. And, excuse me here. You can get a full 12 inches to, see if I can get this a little bit better. It's, it's just the running blade. And I prefer this type over the, oh my gosh, the scoring, not the scoring ones, but you know the ones where they have the wheel on them. My brain's fried, I'm sorry. I've had those kind of blades, and I actually still have a trimmer like that. But I just don't like having to apply pressure down and keep a constant pressure to get the cut. This is just what I prefer, and it's the Fiskars, and I love it. My next item would have to be my T-square. I got it at Michael's, I believe, for a couple of bucks, and it's been a lifesaver, actually. I use it to line up, besides, of course, the obvious to measure and such, but I also use it when I'm putting letters down. If I want them straight, then I will actually apply them to the very tip of it, and then that way I can take all of my letters together and go to my project with it. It comes in really handy. I saw Nicole McGork using it, and I was like, why would I ever need that? But it's one of those things that once you get it, you don't know how you lived without it. So my T-square would be a really good thing on my list. The next thing would have to be my Tim Holtz tiny attacher. Again, it's another one of those things where a few years ago everybody went through the stapling phase where you were stapling objects onto her, and they had the little colored staples. I remember that. Excuse me. And then that kind of phased out, and I actually still had some of those little mini staplers with the colored staples, and never used them. But so when this came out, I'm like, I really don't need another stapler. Why? And I went to somebody scrapbooking class, and one of the ladies there said, no, you really have to try it. Just try it. And I'm like, it's a stapler. And they talked me into trying it on a project. And I don't know what it is about those eensy weensy little staples, but I was sold right then and there. And I absolutely love this. I use it on a lot of stuff. So, yeah, they talked me right into that one. But this is one of those objects I have on my desk all the time because I go to it. Um, let's see, my next would be, okay, my ATG gun. And I'm going to do this one as a grouping because adhesives are a big thing. But my ATG gun is my go-to. I have just the pink one that Michael's started selling a couple of years ago. Getting frame here, Tracy. And I love this. When I first got it, I was very intimidated by it. And I actually hated it in the beginning because I could not get that little flick of the wrist thing that you got to get, to break the tape off. But I've mastered it. I love it. That's my favorite. And now I'm going to just move the camera a little bit and give you my, I'm an adhesive, and I'm not going to say the word because it's ugly, but um, I love adhesives. I'm addicted to adhesives. And then again, we could not do our craft without adhesives. So I'm going to pan up here. That little basket is where most of my adhesives live. And I pulled out some of my favorites that I use quite frequently. And of course, the Tombow Mono Multi adhesive, my glossy accents, zip dry, which I'm just about out of. I need to get some more. And then, of course, the refills. The Aleene's Tack It Over and Over. I can't live without that because I make my own glue dots. I save all the waxy, the sticker sheets that, stickers come on. And I make my own glue dots because they're expensive. And, let me see if they're expensive. And why am I going to pay somebody else to make my glue dots when I can do them myself in an evening? And I can customize, the size of my dots and lines and what have you. I don't know if they're showing up on there. But, yeah, so, and I use them a lot. So, yeah, I make my own glue dots. My foam squares and such. No, I don't make my own foam squares. But, Mod Podge and rubber cement, the E6000, if you're using, if you're gluing objects to stuff that isn't paper, can't live without it. It's awesome. So adhesives would be next on my list. That's a general all around. I can't count all of those. These are all going to have to be counted as one. Okay, so sorry for the shake. Let me get back here in frame. Okay, my next, let's go with scissors. Again, our crafting, we really need ways to cut, so these are my normal go-tos here. Cutter bees for your fussy cutting. And right now, they need to be sharpened, something fierce. These are the Fiskars, and I love these. My husband got them for me a couple of years ago in my Christmas stocking. And these have the best tip on them. And they're really good for people who have, I have rheumatoid arthritis. And sometimes I have a hard time grasping in these little things. And so these spring action that I can just kind of wrap my whole hand around, it actually works really good for me. So depending on how my hands are feeling that day determines which pair of the fine cuts I use. The Tim Holtz Tonic Studio scissors, everybody needs a pair of these. They're incredible. They cut everything. And you know what? I've been seeing everybody that's been showing these. Why am I the only person that has my covers on these? Do you not keep them stored with the cover? I'm obsessed about keeping the lid on these for some reason. I don't know why. They seem like they're indestructible, but by golly, when I hang them up, they're going to have the cover on them. I don't know why. And then these are my stainless steel. I use these for my craft and felt and such like that. And I don't want to run too long on my video, but I have a really funny story. My mother had a pair of these when I was growing up. And as kids, we were always told, you do not, my mom sewed and you don't mess with her sewing scissors. And we all knew that. Well, as kids, we all get to that stage in our early teens that we kind of lose our sense, our good sense at all, And I was at that age. I don't remember. It may have been 12, 15. I don't know. But I used my mom's scissors when she wasn't home. And it had to have been for something that was totally not meant for those scissors because I broke them. And I'm talking, I broke off. They broke like right here and just completely broke. And oh my God, I was horrified. And I was so scared to tell my mom. I didn't. I was stupid. I didn't tell her. I buried them in our yard. And I have to tell you, I was in my early 40s or late 30s before I finally confessed to my mother that I did that. And of course, then she laughed about it. But um, every time I look at these scissors, I think of that story and how I totally deceived my mom. And I feel so bad about it now. But back then, I was like, I'm not telling. I will completely deny. And she did. She asked for months, has anybody seen my scissors? And of course, I was the only one that knew where they were, and I wasn't fessing up to it. So, anyway, there's my funny story about if any kids are watching, do not, oh, sorry, do not deceive your parents. You will live with guilt for years and years. Always tell the truth. Um, yes, I will preach that till the day I die. Always tell the truth because I lived for years about the guilt of that, and I finally had to tell my mom. So, next item would have to be my Cricut spatulas. Yes, I have two because one always winds up walking off. And so I have two as a backup. These things are awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm fumbled today. Uh, Craft knife. Uh, you have to have a craft knife. I do a lot of fussy cutting with them. Your papers and stuff, but you still, I use it for chipboard and cardboard and just whatever. So that would have to be on my list. Um, Punches, my hole punches, EK Success. These are awesome. Again, these are really good for people whose hands aren't as nimble as others. They're easy to squeeze, so if you have arthritis, they're not hard to use at all. And the this is my favorite. I don't have but like three, but my favorite EK Success border punch is the little scalloped one, and I love this as well. I use that quite a bit. Um, my next, who can't live without their pattern paper? Um, it's my favorite lines as of last year and this year going into it are still October Afternoon and Cosmo Cricket. Um, there are a few. Those two just came up. Uh, Crepe paper. I like a lot of them, but those are my go-tos. It seems like I'm always attracted to those, and I just pulled out a few just to show you. So, and the 6x6s, I really, really like the my mind's eye is right in there. I love my mind's eye. Um, the Lost and Found collections are awesome, and Basic Gray. So those are my, you've got to have pattern paper to do a craft. Um, let's see, stamps. I was really into stamps, and I'm still getting into them. And I have them right now in a binder. And sorry for the glare, but I don't have any particular favorites. I can tell you that. Let me see if I can get that off. There are some that I really want to try. I don't own any. No, that's one of my newest ones. But I really want to try the Gorgeous stamps and the Greeting Farm and um, my favorite things is that what they're called? But I really want to try those, but I haven't had an opportunity to get any yet. So those will be next on my list to purchase. My pens, my journaling, and just random pens. But I journal with my Zig Millennium Black, and this one is the .8, I think it is. This one's got a little bit more of a bolder tip to it, and I like that in certain times when I'm writing. And then I have my white pens that I use, and this one is the Uniball Signo. And then I just started trying this one, which is pretty good. And it's it's a jelly roll. I don't know. trying to see. Sakura. Okay, Sakura makes this one. And I really like those two. So, okay. One of my new favorite things from this year has been the Bling Mesh. And this is the only kind I have. The only color. But it's the, if you purchase it through Carla's 001 Etsy, they call it the Cynthia Lou Who's blushy looking, blingy looking mesh. I have seen other places that carry this too, and I'm not exactly sure what they call it, but I purchased it through Carla's store. And this stuff is awesome. You know, you can cut off individual pieces or the strips of it or patches or whatever. Cynthia Lou, who does a lot of things with this here, and she is amazing how she can take something so simple and turning it into something that looks so, you know, elegant with this stuff. It's amazing. Let's see. Pearls. I used a lot of the pearl brads and flatback pearls in 2011 in the Lost and Found line. I just absolutely love theirs, but not only just theirs, but you know, the recollections. And let's just say that the rhinestones and pearls and blingies that we add to our projects were right in there with me. So let's see, I might go over by one or two, who knows. Let's see, that our inks, my inks would be the next in line. You know, I've got, you know, I can't say I have a particular favorite ink. My go-to inks that I use a lot would have to be the antique linen and walnut stain for, you know, my distress inks. You know, I have a lot of them and I love them all. But, you know, when I'm trying to H something, you know, I would definitely go to those. Of course, the Memento ink in black. And, you know, the Jenny Bolin, again, I love her colors and such. So, you know, I have it close to my heart, inks and such. So, just inks in general, I would definitely use. And then my Glimmer Mists, again, I'll just tip it over here. Homemade and store-bought. You know, I love them all. I can't tell you I have one specific color over another. I love them all, so I use them a lot. Next would be my glue gun. I use it virtually every day. It's, you know, you can plug it in. I use it plugged in. You can unplug it. It stays hot for about 5 minutes, and it has a pretty fine point on it, and I totally dig it. My heat embossing, or my heat tool, I love this. I use it. It's never failed on me. And then where would I be in scrapbooking if I didn't have my camera? This is my baby. I've had it for several years, and I wouldn't have my scrapbooking if I didn't have pictures. And got to remember to take pictures and not only take them, but, you know, go print them. A lot of people take pictures and they don't print them. They just keep them stored on their camera. People, print your pictures. Use them. Share them with people. Miniature. The tiny letters. My favorites would have to be the October Afternoon, the mini markets, and the Cosmo Cricket, the tiny types. And then I just found these, My Mind's Eye. I found these here, and they're real pretty gray, and they're in the Lime Twist collection. I've never seen these before, but I've got another sheet that I'm using, and I love them. So there's that. And I can't say anyone. I don't have any one particular flower, but I've been really into flowers this year. I had some Wild Orchid Crafts and some Prima flowers. You know, I really have been using a lot of flowers and stuff. I have a basket full, and I just have fun with those. But I think I think that's about it as far as my favorite things that I used in 2011. I'm sad to say that my Cricut didn't make it on there. I still have my Cricut Expression, And I didn't use it that much last year. I mean, I did use it, but not as much as I should. And I really need to rethink that. I love my Cricut, but I kind of need to think about, what I'm doing with it. I'm going to do an honorable mention because my Copics, if I would have had them in the beginning of the year, I would have said they would have made my list, but they didn't make my list until the very end of the year. I got them, most of them for Christmas. So they're an honorable mention. But I'm already, gosh, my video is already at 20 minutes. So those are my favorite items from 2011 and what I used quite a bit. And I tell you what, because a lot of the people that I would have tagged, they've already been tagged. So I'm going to say, if you're watching this video and you have not been tagged, please share your favorites. This is open for everyone. So please come along and share what you have. I love seeing other people's products and what they like to use. We always have something that somebody may not have seen before, and so I like seeing that. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.